We're just weeks away from the next Tokyo International Conference on African Development. And for the first time ever, the first summit will take place in Africa, Nairobi, Kenya to be exact. In this week's Peter Clottey one-on-one, Peter speaks with Japanese diplomat Tamaki Tsukada about relations between Washington and Tokyo and Japan's overall commitment to Africa.
Mr. Tamaki, before President Obama visited Hiroshima, and for that matter, before he visited Japan, there were speculations that possibly he would be apologizing for the bomb that killed so many people in Hiroshima and all that. What was the reaction after he went there?
I think the overwhelming reaction of the Japanese people, especially the people of Hiroshima, was that of joy and pleasure. I can tell you one opinion poll which was conducted immediately after President Obama's visit to Hiroshima. 98% of the people said that they positively assessed, they evaluated the visit positively.
98%?
98%. And I think it speaks for itself.
Now, looking ahead, in the next 5, 10, 15, probably 50 years to come, what are the prospects of warm relations between the U.S. and Japan?
I think Japan and U.S. will continue to enjoy this very strong alliance.
Let me take you to Africa a little bit, because some people said a few years ago Japan was very prominent in Africa, but it seemed Japan seemed to have been in a slumber, for want of a better word. How would you classify the relationship between Japan and Africa at the moment, and what is, if you can tell, what are some of the initiatives that Japan is coordinating or interacting with the people in Africa?
Japan has been one of the earlier countries who have made Africa an important agenda of G7 meetings, and since then Japan has been leading the discussion on African development. This year in August, Japan will host, together with the African countries, the next TCAD conference in Kenya. And we will bring to bear our resources to Africa in order to ensure that the world will commit itself to the development and the well-being of the African people.
Yeah, how committed is Japan in ensuring these lofty ideas that you've put across now? I mean, how committed is Japan?
Well, if you look at the actual flow of resources from Japan to Africa, I think it has been growing. The trend has been upward, and we have been engaged in African projects massively. So I think the figures, the statistics speak for itself.
So let me take you back to the issue of terrorism and the cooperation between the U.S. and Japan in terms of fighting global terror. What role specifically, if I may ask, is Japan playing in that directive? Because it's a partnership. So what role is Japan playing in that?
Well, Japan, as a member of the G7, G20, and also the United Nations, we have been one of the leading players in supporting the international effort to contain and to exterminate the source of terrorism.
Before we leave you, Minister Tamaki, what will you say, in conclusion, was the biggest achievement following President Obama's trip to Japan?
This visit has shown to the world the consummation of the reconciliation process, and showed an inspiration to the rest of the world that adversaries can come to terms with each other and make an example of the strongest alliance in the world.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tamaki.
Thank you very much.